Madam Trixie Mellenbottom. And I'm excited to have this conversation with you all tonight with our very, very special and important guests. For those of you all that are joining Tour With Me for the first time, we're going to have an open and honest conversation about sexuality, relationship, and also community care. Our goal is to create a conversation that is going to educate as well as empower you to explore within your own lives, pleasure and wellness at the same time. So tonight we're going to explore the art of madaming and power exchanges and the mothering energies and how we can create space for healing and growth. We'll also discuss mental health in kink communities and the nurturing aspect of those dynamics. So tonight we are going to introduce our amazing guests that we have. We have legendary Onyx, we have Ketaji, and we have Ari tonight with us. So I'm going to pass the mic over to introduce our guests. We will start with legendary.
Good evening, everyone. I am legendary Onyx. I am also 2025 Leatherman of Color.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you, how can you tell us what is your connection to tonight's topic?
Ooh, sweet baby Jesus. I wasn't prepared for that. I understand and know that I ain't nobody's mother, and I'm okay with that. However, I have always had a caretaking spirit, and so sometimes it has been for my good, and it's also been for my detriment.
Thank you. Welcome to your show.
Child, this ain't my show. This is the community show. Don't play with me.
Yes. Thank you. Ketaji.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ketaji, or Kevin. Use them interchangeably. Open to it. And I am coming to this really great opportunity as a social worker, as a Reiki practitioner, as a Buddhist, as someone who's lived and moved around. And I'm just very grateful to be here and be a part of this conversation.
Thank you. And Ari.
Hi, I'm Ari B, or Ari. I am here in this space as a future trauma therapist. I am a rape advocate, rape crisis advocate, I'm sorry. A doula, a Reiki healer. I'm a wound care healer. And I am just a mother and a lover of all things BDSM. So.
Thank you. So I want to ask the guest about what would you consider a good mental health check hygiene? What is good mental hygiene? What does that look like for you? So any one of you can answer first.
Come on here. Don't be shy.
Come on and jump
All right.
in.
I would say personally, one of the things that I am working on, practicing, is my sleep hygiene, because I know my sleep hygiene will connect to my mental health hygiene. I've noticed over the years that my ability to regulate my own emotions and my own internal storms definitely can be easier said than done. Depending on how much kind of sleep I've had or how I've ate, how I've nourished myself in my body. And so that's some of the things I think about when it comes to mental health hygiene. It's like, that for myself is like, how am I sleeping? And working on that to make sure that I'm getting enough to show up in the world.
Okay. I like that. Anyone else want to go? Go ahead.
So my mental health hygiene focuses on self-care, making sure that I'm taking time for myself throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, having those specific days that are dedicated to just me. Also providing myself with space to just be alone with my thoughts, be alone with myself. And be okay with that, be okay in the silence that I created for myself. So that's what my mental health care looks like.
Thank you.
For me, I have a person, and so I have a friend that I reach out to, and we talk at least every other day, 2 to 3 days a week. And for instance, I've been busy with life, been lifing, and been busy trying to do some things, and I did not call them, and they did not hear from me until Thursday, and they was like, well, I ain't gonna say what they said, but they was like, bitch, what the hell is wrong with you? In a text message. And so I knew that was, look, if I don't answer this phone call, they already have they got my location. Either somebody is gonna come to my house and find me, or they're gonna drive from Ohio to come find me. And gas in Chicago is $5. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Thank you for that. For myself, I will say my mental health hygiene and check-in really includes things like, I know if I've had a long day and I've been dealing with the community, I need to take a spirit bath. I need to, before I lay down in my bed, I need to check in with myself, and I need to bathe and really reset and get in alignment with me. I also have people that I do talk to, and definitely there's the space of they can connect with me on so many levels, where if I start answering them funny, or if I seem distant, or even if I'm frustrated, I can say what I want to say to them. And I think for me, having good rooted and grounded people around me is a great way for me to tap into my mental health. People that no matter what is going on in the world, or even my own world, that if I call them, they're able to just say something to make me feel secure and just guide me. So that kind of leads me into the next question that I want to ask you about: how have you seen power exchanges and practices interact with therapy or medication in your experience or within your community? That's a deep question, huh?
For me, it is just transparent. I call what I have a starting 5: anxiety, depression, PTSD, agoraphobia, and ADHD, and probably something else that ain't been described. But for me, it's been a journey, and one thing that I've just learned recently is to do multiple self check-ins. Okay. And so even at my 9 to 5, when I'm not being legendary, I do a monthly self check-in. So this is what I had planned. This is what I did. This is what I didn't accomplish. And this is how I'm okay with not accomplishing. And so I see a therapist weekly, and talking about medication, there was a time when I was on medication and it didn't go right, and I spent 5 days on the special floor, and don't do it. And I had to learn to heal myself after that process, because for a long time I could still hear the screams and the cries of the people on the floor.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that adds, perspective to what are we calling medication? What are, because tools that we have are also things that are medication, and we can use them within our community. And perhaps you may have needed other medications to support you in that. So anyone else want to answer that question? And thank you for sharing.
So I am been a therapist, been a client on both ends, both sides, many times, and I would say that as from the aspect of a therapist, a social worker, people are coming and really interested in talking about some of the things that they are dealing with or navigating or needing support with. And so, someone may be coming to me expecting me to have the answers and to be the person to kind of tell them what to do. And for me, that is a difference in how I see therapy, because I'm a partner. I'm a guide. I'm not meant to tell you what to do and how to do it. You have all the things that you need, and I am here to support you with understanding what you have so that you can really use it best for your care. And so that's one way where there is a inherent power dynamic that is created within mental health and therapy. And so for me, some of it is really for people who often have not felt like they have power, felt empowered, how do I ensure that they have that they are re-empowered to take on their life? Because that is ultimately what it is. I am with you once a week for an hour. You driving your car the rest of the time yourself. And so I get in the car once a week, you got the math. I'm just here, point some things out. And so that's one aspect of it. And on the flip side, as a client, it has been one of the most important things, I think, for me to be as a client, because you have to point the arrow at yourself. You can't be someone who's just kind of pointing an arrow and trying to help other people. You have to be willing to point the arrow at yourself and look at yourself. And that's been really a gift. And for me, full transparency, it hasn't always just been talk-based therapy. I have had, Reiki. I have had other things that really support my overall mental, emotional health, with spirituality as a part of it, because I think all of those things are connected, and even sexuality and intimacy, as we're here in this conversation. And so I think power exchange is kind of a thing that's definitely happening on a continuous basis around the aspects of healing. And when you're inviting someone else into your healing journey with you, there's going to be some exchange.
Agreed. Do you want to answer that question?
Hopefully I answer it correctly. I believe in therapy. I do have a therapist that I talk to at least once every 2 weeks. But as far as community and mental health, I have a team of sisters and mentors and mothers that take very good care of me. They do not let me fall by the wayside. They make sure that they keep up with me very well. And I have built a community of women around me that supports me and love me, have my best interest in mind and in heart. So I think that is important, that we do build those kind of communities around each other and around ourselves, as well as therapy. I wholeheartedly believe in therapy. My sisters and my mentors and my mothers cannot help me with everything. We do need therapists. We do need trained individuals that can help us sort through the mental complexities that we have. So.
Yes, I agree with all of that. And you kind of started going into one of the things that we were going to talk about next, about how have you seen mothering energy show up in your life, traditionally and non-traditionally within your family structures, right? How do we connect with that? And you shared about how you have a team of women that are around you to support you and how that is good for your mental health. Do you all want to chime in on that question too?
I would say my mother is one of, out of 12 children, 9 of them were women. And I was the last grandchild, so I always have been, maybe this the church boy in me, I've always been baptized in Big Mama's hug. And so even when it comes to people in the community, I tell people when you come to an event, like for instance, if you come to the Onyx dance and you see me, I'm gonna treat you like your uncle or your auntie that ain't seen you in 10 years. Baby, come get something to eat. You need a drink. You ain't got enough money for a drink. You can't get in. I wanna show that that love where I see people and I be like, come here, I ain't got much, but lay your head on my bosom. Let me rock you, baby. And it's not, the difference is being a part of a Western society, we take that as being sexualized. But it's just being of African descent, it's more about how can I make sure those I'm connected to can show and feel genuine love.
Yes, I agree with that. You want to chime in with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of it's just been cared for. How can I make sure people are cared for regardless, right? Like, I have truly, definitely have been mothered, have experienced mothering energy within my family and definitely outside of my family. I think even being in Chicago, I came to Chicago by myself, no people. I came to Chicago for grad school and truly, maybe within 7 days, I had a whole community of folks. And I'm so blessed that it was an authentic community. I showed up and they showed up. And they had continued to really pour into me in a lot of different aspects of folks, have continued to pour into me. And it's something that I can look back in my life and definitely pinpoint at least one, probably 2 or even more, women or people that had mothering energy and nurturing care that made sure that I survived and floated in that moment. And they were not always even older than me. There have been people that have really poured into me to make sure that I felt cared for and made it through some moments and felt connected.
Thank you for sharing that. For myself, I have many names, right? I introduced you to 2, but in addition to Lotus Love, my community calls me Mama Lotus. And I did not start that at all. It just started where people would have interactions with me of love and care, and it reminded them of Mama. And even on a spiritual place, one of my spiritual names, Yetunde, it means mother has returned. So that means that when you're interacting with me as a person, some mother energy is going to come through me. This is the importance of, as African people, Black people, melanated people, our names, how that governs your life. And so when you come with a name that speaks of mother has returned, for me, that is the energy that when I'm interacting with people, that my love is good enough to nurture and pour into someone where I know that I have mothered someone to life, where they felt like they were a dying tree. And just by me hugging them, just by me doing, as you said, legendary, things like, come on in here, I don't got much, but let me hug you. Let me just listen to you. Those are things that even when you go to see a therapist or a coach, they're going to ask you, who else are you talking to? And I think that place of where, we have to start really honoring that mother's energy. It's a job. It's a gift. It is an honor to have that, not just in your family, but you can be that in your community. Even if you're not someone that has children that you've birthed, someone needs to have some sort of mothering. I saw something once that spoke about the black woman is always being everybody's mother. And how you could just be walking down the street and some black woman is just going to say, like, tie your shoes, you're going to fall, boy. They don't have anything to do with you, but there's something about that energy where you're always looking out for someone. And I think the flip side of that is it's nice to have where someone can give that back to you. So we're mothering, but we also need that as well. All people need that. So I thank you all for answering that question. So we're going to move into the next segment, which is our pleasure spotlight. So I'm going to do a technique to share with you how to negotiate, as well as do some aftercare if you are engaging in a scene with someone. And I'm going to use my guest, Legendary. So wait, before you get up. Yeah. Before you get up, what I want to share is that this is going to be a technique that I'm going to share at a cuddle experience where we're going to explore intimacy. People think about cuddling as some kind of way where you connect with strangers or somebody and they're holding you, or whether you know them or not. But we don't understand a lot of times how intimacy starts prior to that, in the way that we talk to a person. And the intimacy is not done once the scene is over. There's aftercare. How do you check in with that person after they have received some sort of service from you, some sort of energy, scene, play, or technique? This is one of the techniques that we're going to do, and so let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to have us both stand here, and I'm going to have you place your back on mine. I'm going to have you put all of your weight on my back so that we can establish trust and you feeling supported, and for you to just let go, right, as we're doing that. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. So I want to also share with you that if there's something that makes you feel uncomfortable while we're doing this, you can follow like a traffic light. You can say red for stop or no. Yellow, pause. Doesn't necessarily mean stop completely, but just pause for this moment. We may need to address our body. There may be something emotional happening. There may be, I just need to pause for a moment. Then you have green. Green is, you like this. Feels good. I want more. Or you can give me some nonverbals, right? Give me yes, no, pause. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any issues with your back or anything physically ailing you from being able to lean backwards?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So let's come stand here. And before we start that, I just want to connect with you. So come a little closer and let's hug. We just establish some intimacy. Take a deep breath in. Now, I'm going to have you turn around. Good. Turn around. I'm going to put my back towards you. Okay? And you're going to just let your body go left. Put all your weight on me. You're not that. Come on now. I got you. No. Okay. What are you feeling? Too much of a stretch? Lightheaded. Okay, so slowly let's just come up. Just here. Where are you now?
I'm okay.
So let's stay here for now. And if you need to feel internally, you never felt supported, this is a moment of where you can lean into that support. Yeah, you can put all your weight on it. There you go. Good. You're going to slowly come up, and I'm going to slowly come down. You need water? So that was, thank you. That was our pleasure spotlight. Intimacy, you can create that with simple ways of just connecting with touch and supporting one another. So in that, we talked about how to negotiate with a person and just check in and see what are the things that they like or they need, making the adjustments, listening to the person and their body, and then closing out with some aftercare. Aftercare can be as long or as short as you would like. So Thank you. And these are also things when you are doing play scenes with someone. These are things that you can do to support someone in their mental health as well, because it's difficult sometimes to ask somebody, like with that technique I just did, to ask somebody to just lean in and put all your weight on a person and let them support you. That's hard. Sometimes it's even hard for, people to even, this is why it's hard for people sometimes to go to even a therapist to ask for some support. So we do rely on, there is an aspect of being in kink spaces where you get to bring this to the table with the different techniques that you have. So I want to play a game with all of our guests, right? Okay. So our game we're gonna play is Mother May I. Do you all remember that game, Mother May I?
I ain't that young.
But you might have not played that game. You might depend, or like, did you play Rock Teacher? Y'all didn't play Rock Teacher? Stop.
What the hell is that?
What? Y'all never play Rock Teacher. Anybody in the audience play Rock Teacher?
Yes.
Thank you. I needed somebody.
Well, he's weird.
We love audience participation.
Well, Rock Teacher is similar to Mother May I. It has components of asking for consent, though, to proceed, and then you guess which hand the person is holding the rock, and then you go up another stair. Rock Teacher.
I thought you throw rocks at people.
Oh, no, that is not what that is.
Oh, okay.
I thought about
Like if they answered the question wrong and then you throw the rock at them. Yeah, that's
No.
Listen, my neuro brain. You can't say, you got to get more contact.
Oh my goodness.
Because I thought you was throwing rocks at other kids.
No, it was the game that you played Rock Teacher and Mother May I when it was raining outside and your mama let you stay outside a little bit longer. And you couldn't really like leave the stairs, or if you were on punishment, you couldn't leave the stairs. So that's what you did. You played Mother May I or Rock Teacher quietly. It was some mama, I think some mother made that game up to keep the kids quiet. Like, I'm cooking, I can't see you, I'm doing one thing, but I know you're not leaving these stairs.
I was the only child, and I read a book instead of going outside. My parents made me go outside to play with other kids.
Okay. So today, I'm gonna play Mother May I with you.
Okay. We played
Okay.
that in school, though.
Okay, good. I'm gonna read the questions, right? And you just gotta answer.
Okay.
And these questions that we're gonna ask, they are for our in-house audience and our people online. We want you to respond with yes, maybe, or not today. And we want to see where do we stand on these practices, right? Though there is no wrong answer. We just want you to ask for your authentic self. This is also about your personal boundaries and your preferences. So for our online viewers, we ask that you drop your answers in the chat. Our in-person audience, you can answer with, your thumbs up for a yes. You can put a thumb down, like thumbs down, for not today. Or you can do the sign of like so for maybe. Okay? All right, good. So our first question, Mother, may I take a solo spa day on Mother's Day instead of family obligations? Okay, you said no.
I said no.
Why?
My mother is 67. So every Mother's Day, I want to make sure that I spend that Mother's Day with her. She lost her mother 15 years ago, and I still watch my mother go through for not having her mother here. So every day that I can celebrate my mother, I will be with my mother, celebrating her.
That leads me to other questions, but I'm gonna digress, right? Because I feel differently. My mom is 70 something. My dad is 90 something, almost 100, and I pushed my babies out. On Mother's Day, it's my day to do whatever I want to do, period. Because I'm a daughter every day, I'm a mother every day, and I need time to honor myself and what I need to do when I need to do it. Not being selfish, just I'm very self-aware, and self-care is important for me in a whole nother way, you know. Okay, the next Mother May I. Mother, may I set a boundary with a play partner or a partner who wants more emotional labor than I can give? Okay, we got some so-and-sos. Now, why maybe it's okay to set a boundary? Am on.
I guess it just depends on where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, am I in a space to like give, you know, people emotional support? Yeah.
But the question is about like you, and is it okay if you set that boundary? So are you saying that you don't feel okay with setting a boundary when it's around like, hey, I ain't got that. Go and get your mom and them to do that.
Well, if anything, that's something that I'm working on to understand how to create that boundary, because I'm very carried and like willing to help people and give them the shirt off my back. So like, if anything, it's a work in progress.
Okay, I think that's good.
I felt that.
Yeah, I think that's good. And that makes me think about wanting to ask, is there a tool that you all may have as a panelist that you can say, hey, this may be a tool to use? Like my tool is I'm feeling away. When I say I'm feeling away, that means it's for me to check in with myself. That means it's a check-in for you. I'm feeling some kind of way that I haven't completely figured it out just yet, but I need a moment for me to get there. I'm feeling a way. It puts you in a place of where you understand that I'm feeling things. So anything that I say or do from this moment forward, it is all feeling based. Have some grace for me as I have grace for myself, because I'm feeling the way. That is my way of saying pause, because I'm still loving and caring, even though I'm saying pause. Just like we were having our pleasure spot right here, and Onyx still wanted to have that exchange, but I checked in and pause was what was needed, and I made the adjustment, and then I continued after checking in. So the same thing that you need, the person wants from you emotionally, you need it as well. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. So I'm feeling the way. Anybody have a tool? And then we'll go to the next Mother May I? If you don't, it's fine.
One thing myself and some friends have done is I ain't got no more spoons. Or just doing that. I could, but I can't. And it's comical, but like I'm learning to be okay with not being okay. And I'm learning to invest in me more than others, Because that's a whole nother conversation that we could have later.
Yes.
I think for me, I'm similar piggybacking off of that one. I would say like just pausing, right? Like if someone's asking for something or needing something for that moment, just like, hey, like can I get like a few seconds just to give yourself a opportunity to even see if you even got it to even respond to that. Like some of it is just slowing the process down, right? If someone's coming to you about something, how do you just kind of slow this down instead of having the immediate reaction, like I gotta go do that. And that's something I have worked on, just really not having to be the firefighter all the time. Give myself some water.
Do you have one that you want to share?
So my tool is pausing as well, but one of my other tools is resources. I can't help you, or I can't provide what it is that you're looking for in this moment, but maybe this person can, or maybe this activity can, or maybe you can find what you need inside of your own space. I'm good for sending people inward.
We love a redirection. We love a redirection.
Yes. Speaking of a redirection, I have one more tool for you to add into your toolbox, right? Okay. Are you ready? There's this word I'm going to teach you. No.
Ooh. I knew she was going to give it that.
Such an ugly word.
Ooh, get that no.
No. It's not no because I know I need, no I want. No, it's no. Okay. Mother, may I? Mother, may I prioritize my mental health check-ins as much as my physical safety goals during a scene or playing with the person?
I don't know.
Okay. And that's okay. That's kind of where, those examples of like having a person that you're playing with that could also check in with you.
And then I only say I don't know because sometimes, depending on who's my partner, I know that I can check out. And they know me well enough to know, all right, we stopping. So I don't always have to think. And I'm okay with not thinking.
Yeah, and that happens often in, play scenes where you go into subspace. And when you're in subspace, you are in the land of the la-las. And this is where your safe words come in because you don't have the words to say the other things or the nonverbals. They are very helpful, quick and to the point. Okay, the next mother, may I ask for the same nurturing and care that I give to others?
Took me a while to get there though. It's a thumbs up, but it definitely took me a while to get to the point where it was a thumbs up and I can just give a thumbs up quick.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to say?
It took me a while too. It not just took me a while to ask, but also took me a while to accept it, whether I asked for it or not.
Yes.
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 Okay. All right. So I want to move into our next section, segue over to Legendary.
Well, we got this wonderful toy box. All you have to do is come into Project Zeta, get tested. We say what? Test, play, repeat. Test, play, repeat. We're open Monday through Saturday. Come on in, get tested. Once you get tested, get your results, and get you a toy box. I always tell people, no matter what your status is, come on and get tested. It's a nice little playtime. And I'm going to give it back to Lotus.
Thank you. And I'm going to eventually, in a second, give it back to you so that you can give us also a tip for today, right? Where you talk about things to keep us and our pleasure safe, our mental health, and how can we support ourselves in this process.
Well, sugar honey iced tea, I forgot all about that. Thank you so much. Whether you're a dominant, a submissive, a switch, which means you can go either way, or you just curious. Staying regulated before, during, and after a scene is crucial to your mental well-being. Here are some quick tips. First, one that we already used, which was thanks to Garrett Morgan, the stoplight, green, yellow, red. If you don't remember, rewind this video and watch what Madam Trixie said. Another thing is scheduling your aftercare. Aftercare is more than just physical. It's more than just getting somebody some water. It's checking in with the person's emotional needs. Understanding the signs of sub or dom drop. It can be a mother lover. I'm working on not cussing. And then also, lastly, just be prepared with different resources. There are a number of resources. One is making sure that you either call or text 988. That's 988. If you're having a mental crisis, there is a phone line that is a national line that you can call for help. There's also the National Coalition for Sexual Freedom that can help you find you a kink-aware therapist. Ain't nothing like a good therapist. But also, as we've already been talking about, making sure that you build your toolkit, your mental health, I like to say mental wellness toolkit, before and after an intense scene. Include things like your comfort items, things to help you get grounded, different techniques, even contact info of support people. Remember this one thing. Power exchange should enhance your well-being and not compromise it. That was just a tip. But baby, we could go deeper.
Thank you, Legendary, for that amazing tip, those amazing tips. I appreciate that personally, and I know that our audience does as well. I want to move into a deeper dive into some questions, and I want to ask Ari, can you describe a time that you had to reparent yourself or maybe someone else after a very hard scene or even a hard day?
I can talk about the last scene that I had at the debauchery ball that just passed. And it was someone who I've known in the lifestyle for a while. And I asked to be spanked. And my pain tolerance and my tolerance for spanking is a little high. He wasn't quite sure where to go or how hard to go or how long to go, and he just kind of followed the scene. But at some point in the scene, I did kind of lose myself in a sense. Whatever was inside of me just kind of started bubbling up, and I began to cry. And we did some mild aftercare, hugging, rubbing. But after that, I did have to go and sit in a corner. I had to talk to myself. I had to rub on myself. I had to hug myself. In that moment, I had to self-soothe. So yeah, that would be my.
Thank you. Legendary, I want to ask you actually that. Yes, you.
Can you
Not
repeat the
little old you.
question?
I can. The question is, can you describe a time that you had to reparent yourself or someone else after a hard scene or a hard day?
I guess after a hard scene, I normally just, it takes a little while. I'm legendary for a reason. And orgasms and headspace are the reason. And so when it comes to open scenes, I tend to go pretty deep. And so so I have worked on taking myself and getting better.
Okay. I like that. Do you want to answer that question as well?
I'm thinking, I would say like after a hard day, I would say really, having come into social work, I think I was like very much so like excited and interested in doing this work and providing support and providing care. And also at the same time, like trying to take it in with yourself wasn't always the thing, right? Like if you're someone kind of really interested in doing this work, supporting people, you had to kind of run into people like a Lotus Love to point you back at yourself, and remind yourself that you're part of this process as well. And so I think that's one of the things that has really, in my hardest times, in my hardest days, that question, like, what is it that I need? Because I am someone who can absolutely, very easily kind of slip into, caring and acting and looking externally, trying to support people externally. But like, how am I feeling after that? And so I think that's one of the things that I've over the years, it has been much more beneficial, and I've seen the power of being like, how was that for you today? That was an interesting day, wasn't it? That was a hard kind of situation you had to sit with somebody. You heard some really challenging things, and letting yourself cry. I think when it's different and similar in interesting ways, and there are intersections. But when you're sitting with someone, and holding space for them, and being that guy, you sitting in that car with them for that hour, that's an hour in that car with them navigating some life. And they're going to take you wherever they need to go because you are there to support them.
Yeah, I like that too. I think I had to learn to reparent myself coming from a place of where my mom always talked about, like, talk to me, communication. She was very big on that. And I had to do some reparenting around if I've had a hard day. I don't want to talk. For the first 15, 20 minutes, when I come in my house, don't touch me, love me, hug me, or nothing. You can give a wave, let me go, because the first thing I usually want to do is run into the shower. I want to kind of move into another topic around that. Speaking of moms, what is something that, definitely a question for you, what's a message that you had to kind of move through when it comes around the topic about good mothers and being a good mother, and how did you have to unlearn that so that you can kind of connect to your authentic expression in the roles that you may have in different kink spaces, or even in the place of just in life in general?
I had to deconstruct a lot of things that my mother said to me when I was growing up. A lot of things that I was put in a box. Was forced to stay in a box. Was never comfortable with leaving that box. And once I figured out that I wasn't supposed to be in that box, I found a lot of shame being outside of that box. Coming into motherhood, though, I made it a particular goal to not put my child in that box. I remember early on when me and my mother we would have conversations, and she would say stuff like, "Oh, you give her too many options. She shouldn't have so many say-sos and what it is she does." But 360 and coming back, and now my child is 15 and she's able to express herself. She's able to say what it is that she does like and what she doesn't like. She's able to give her heart yeses and her heart no. She's able to give her boundaries. She's able to mother me when I don't even know that I need mothering. So those are things that I had to work through as far as my mother or being a mother and mothering in my own personal space. In the kink space, is something different, but yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. I've had to move through that as far as moving through different roles that I have in the community, as well as being a mother to many, and dealing with those thoughts around people where they say, "Oh, well, you're a healer. You can't spank people. You're a mother. You can't do this." And I had to redefine what me being a good mother looks like. And so even in a place where I am having a scene with someone, it's about transformation. It's about healing. It's about pleasure being something that is a tool for healing. And that's just a part of who I am in all spaces. Even as a mother, I'm here to support and guide, and I bring that in all the spaces that I'm in. I want to actually ask you, Keitaji, what do you think about good mothers, good topics, good tops, and how to unlearn some of the thoughts around what a good mother is?
So I would say that I had a mentor and a friend. About 5 years ago, I was working at a private practice. I was working in a private practice that was LGBTQ affirming, Black and brown led, specifically Black led, and it was a kink informed space. And so I went to dinner with my the founder director at the time, and we walked into their home, and we hadn't talked. You talk about some things with your mentors and your kind of directors. And I walked into the home, and when we got there, my director, their partner, literally took off their shoes, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, right?" And so I feel as I'm someone who's open and curious, and so it wasn't anything that really was like, "Oh, no, I don't like that," or any judgment behind it. But it was a moment for me, like, okay, like something in my spirit was like, okay, right? And so I saw that, and when we got to dinner, it was me, them, and their partner. We were still there talking, and they were like, "Yeah, like this is a 24/7 BDSM kind of situation." And I was like, "Okay, I'm here for it." And in that conversation, we were talking, and I was like, because I was new at the time, and still am new in very different ways, and very curious. They communicated to me that what is the difference between them doing that and what happens in a lot of homes already. It might not be that drastic or look like that, but there are already ways that people are falling into roles and categories and doing things that are gendered and doing things that are, there are particular ways that we don't question. And, and so in that moment I had to really think about I think for me it went beyond just it was a good parent. It was good families, right? In that moment, what?
Like not judging them about
yes,
you
yes,
are
yes.
still a good parent,
Yes,
even though
absolutely.
you are
Absolutely,
in these roles where you're a top
absolutely.
and you have a sub.
24/7, right? And so I think it's pulling off the veil of some of the judgment. I love what you said, Ari. When out of the box with shame. And for me, I wasn't in the box with them at that moment, but I think seeing that in my own lack of knowledge, about what is possible in families and what is possible for people in love and relationships, it added a layer of complexity that I can now take on and appreciate and understand. And so I was really grateful for that moment because there was a lot of learning in that for me. And it was really cool. It opened up an opportunity for me to see how to create on my own as well. and what is possible and what is healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of those amazing answers to that question. It just kind of makes me think about understanding how we talked about, from our perspectives, caregiving and our dominance and the different things that we need are, almost universal. The same things that someone is a top doing service for someone is very similar to what someone that is bottoming for someone. We all need to communicate. We need negotiation. We need safe words. Even in a space when it comes to people in kink spaces with children, and how do we find time to schedule out our lives to participate in those things. And I want to just kind of ask, do you all have any advice for a parent that is in kink spaces, and how do you schedule or make time for yourself to be able to do the things that you need? Just a quick tip.
For me, it is more so of what is child appropriate and age appropriate. I never want to shield my child from the realities of the world. I never want to shield my child from my own personal realities. But I also want to make sure that I am providing a safe space for her, but also a responsible space for her. What is age appropriate for a child of 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old? What is appropriate for a child to see or be involved in or be a witness of? I was, at one point, I was in a very open poly relationship. And we all had children. So that was an experience, and that was a space that I was open to. We would have family days. We would bring all the children together, and everyone played, and everyone had a good time, and it was me, her, and him. And, just being able to be in that space, but also provide that, that understanding or that nurturing of your relationships can look however you want them to look.
Thank you. I want to say that is very important, like having a community so that you can schedule out your life. Find your friends that are in this community with you that can be a part of this journey, and also knowing that being able to play is good for your mental health, right? It's good for your mental health. So I want to thank all of our amazing guests for being present and all of their wisdom that they have shared and their experiences. Before we wrap up, I want to make a few important announcements to share with you all. First, I want to say for you to tune in for our YouTube channel in June for the next Toy With Me episode. We have new guests, new toys, fresh conversations that you do not want to miss out. The Mind, Body, and Soul and Health and Wellness Circle, that is coming up, and it brings free mental health, spiritual and physical wellness services for Black, gay, bisexual, and other same gender-loving men. You want to join us for those free fitness days, dance, yoga, cooking classes, and free acupuncture and massage therapy 6 days a week, okay? You want to participate in that. This is going to happen every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. MBS offers meal prep days led by Chef Bleak and Chef Nick, and you can give us a call at 773-277-2291 to register. Also, MBS has started offering massages on Saturdays from 9 to 6 p.m. And also, we don't want you to forget that if you are here in person, remember, you can get tested here at Project Vita. Walk-ins are accepted Mondays to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you want that toy box that Legendary mentioned before, come by and get tested, and the toy box is yours. Remember, test, play, and repeat. And I want to bring back Legendary to make a very special announcement for his International Mr. Leather competition coming up.
So a little shameless plug. This upcoming weekend, the 22nd through the, that's me, y'all. The 22nd through the 26th, it is I am the Leather Man of Color 2025. There are 68 contestants, and as the old folks say, Lord willing, creek don't rise, I will be the one. You can help my cause by going to all of my media socials, checking me out, and supporting. And if you're in the Congress this weekend on Friday, just on Thursday for the opening ceremonies, see what I'm wearing.
Thank you for sharing that. I also want to do a shameless plugger that May 31st, I will be having a class at the Ivy. Look, that's me. The Cuddle Experience, where you will learn to do techniques like I just showed you at our Pleasure Spotlight. You can go to the site. The information is there on the link tree. This is a BIPOC exclusive space so that we can experience intimacy and cuddle with each other. So, I want to thank you all for coming. Huge thanks and love to our amazing guests. Keitaji, thank you for coming. Ari, thank you for coming. Thank you, Legendary, for being on your show, co-hosting with me, hosting. I don't know what's happening.
Shut up.
Thank you for the Just Tip segment, and thank you all for tuning in. And remember, when it comes to your mental health, your boundaries, your care practices, knowledge is power. Honor your mind, your pleasure, your power, and honor your voice. Honor your voice to communicate what it is that you need. Honor what it is that you do not need and do not want. Whether you're giving or receiving care, setting boundaries, or exploring being able to surrender, remember that your well-being matters. Communities thrive when we all practice good mental health hygiene and nurture each other with respect and intention. And always stay curious and ready for play. We will catch you on the next Toy With Me. See you in June on YouTube. Thank you.